Coming up on today's show, I want to talk about some of the free agent targets out there for the Falcons now that the trade deadline has passed that maybe Terry Fontenot could pursue because he did not land a pass rusher before the deadline. I'm not sure if it was just they didn't like anyone or there was someone they did like, but the price was too high. We'll probably never really know the exact truth of it. But if Fontenot does want to make some type of addition, and it's not by trade, but it's by free agency, got a couple of names to run through here. But a good little primer to set the base here is, what does Atlanta have to work with? How deep are their pockets? They've got $7.5 million in cap space, so they could sign anyone. I mean, there is not a single free agent out there that would require more than the vet minimum. We're already halfway through the season. We're talking about a $1-ish million contract. So don't let money stop you from signing any of these free agents. Now, it is somewhat worth noting that if you do sign someone, even at a very small cost, that will take away some of your salary cap rollover to next year. So that is a factor that has to be entered into the equation. Now, before we look at our first name, we are trying to get to 29,500 subscribers. I really want to get there before our watch party on Sunday. And then after beating the Saints on Sunday, I want to finish at 30,000 subscribers, which would be such an awesome cherry on the top for what's going to be, I'm going to call it right now, a big win this Sunday. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you hate the Aints. Now, our first free agent target to look at is Rasheem Green, former third-round draft pick who's hopped around the NFL a little bit. He played all 17 games last year for the Chicago Bears, which when you see the other two guys, that's actually a pretty good pro for him. But the former Seattle Seahawk spent some time earlier this year with the Jags. He was with their team during training camp, ultimately did not make the roster. So I would like to think Green is in good football shape. And, I mean, let's be honest here. When it's November and you have been somewhat out of work, like NFL players, because that's their job, have been for a couple of weeks, you might let your body go a little bit. I certainly would. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So I don't think it's out of the realm of the possibility that some of these guys may not be in the greatest football shape at this moment. But if they are working out and they are staying in shape, I don't think Atlanta has much to lose by at least inquiring about their services. Now, Green last year played all 17 games in Chicago. He only put up 2 sacks. I'm not going to try and sell you guys, oceanfront property in Oklahoma on these 3 players, but it's better than majority of the Falcons roster. I mean, he'd be second in sacks this year if he was on the team with 2 at the moment. So the bar's not very high for Green. But you can look back at what he did in 2021, 2022, 6.5 sacks, 3.5 sacks. No, those are not eye-popping numbers. I understand, and I agree, but we are at a point where beggars can't be choosers. So I think it's worth at least a practice squad signing, bring him in, work him out, let him practice for a couple of weeks, see what you have in him. If he's no better than Arnold Ebiketie and the rest of this pass rushing core and practice for 2 to 3 weeks, then you cut ties, you move on, and sorry you moved on from the 16th guy on the practice squad to make room for someone at a very big position of need for Atlanta. To me, the pros outweigh the cons right there. We're going to look at our second free agent target in just a second here, but I want to get everyone's score prediction for Sunday in. I was pretty confident like just 2 minutes ago. I am going to acknowledge that there is a real thing, which I believe in, and that is the NFL interim head coach bump. However, for me, it feels like the Saints are just so far from the bump. I mean, they traded Lattimore away. I'm very confident in the Falcons, pardon my French, ship pumping the Saints. Second free agent target is a former first-round draft pick. The name might ring a bell. It is Shaq Lawson. Longtime AFC East member, drafted by the Bills, went to the Dolphins, went to the Jets, went back to the Bills, and then most recently a very short stint in Carolina. He spent some time actually just a few weeks ago on the Panthers practice squad. So I'm confident that Lawson's probably in good enough football shape to bring in for a workout and to see if he can hang with the Falcons practice, hang with the Falcons in practice. He's got a good career, 26 sacks, 7 forced fumbles, and 42 tackles for loss. He never lived up to first-round expectations, but I'm not going to be a broken record, but I'll say it one more time. Beggars can't be choosers. It is November 6th. There is no one walking through the door in free agency that's going to dramatically turn around the Falcons' pass rush. All I'm asking for is for someone to walk through the door and make them not dead last in sacks. which, spoiler, they currently are. So last year, 1 sack. Go back to 2022, 3.5 sacks. Like, he has not really put great numbers on, the stat sheet and great tape out there. But, hey, it can't be much worse than it currently is. The Falcons are the only team not in double digits for sacks. I mean, how about this for a second, right? They're 32nd. The Patriots are 30th. The Patriots traded their number 1 pass rusher to the Falcons, Matthew Judon. And they still have more sacks. And they stink. They stink out loud. Gerard Mayo said there's effort issues. They have bad effort, and they have 7 more sacks than the Falcons. I think they might have even had their bio ready too. So, the bar is so low. We're at the point, actually, where we are encroaching on the movie Invincible territory. With, what's his name? Do you remember? Vince Papale, thank you. Good thing Reed's from Philly. Like, we might be considering walk-ons at this point. Open tryouts might be a thing in Flowery Branch when you are 32nd in sacks and you have 9 to show for and you are 9 weeks into the season. So how much longer do we need to hope, right? It was after the Panthers win in Carolina when Grady Jarrett said, like, we're going to get this thing turned around. We're going to get the pass rush going. And hopefully that 3-sack performance against the Cowboys is a sign of good things to come. I think it's a combination of maybe some hair on fire right before the trade deadline, and also the Cowboys' offensive line has a rookie left tackle. It's got an aging and declining right guard. It's got a regressing right tackle in Terrence Steele. Like, I know I'm picking some things that are a little bit nitpicky here, but how much longer do we have to just hope they'll turn it around? Why not just bring one of these guys onto your practice squad and see if they can elevate the rest of the room a little bit? More to get to in just a second here, but a quick shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your money. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks, by the way, offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. So here are the selections that producer Reed picked for this Sunday. So I suggest doing the opposite of all this. Or actually this Saturday. He went, or Thursday? Thursday football. Okay, my bad. Lamar Jackson took the more. Okay, I kind of like that. Joe Burrow took the more, and then Derrick Henry more than half a touchdown. I actually don't fade these. These are pretty good, solid selections by Reed. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. All that information is in the comments and description of today's video. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. You guys ready to take a stroll down memory lane with me? How about Shane Ray? Which, believe me, I did not think I would ever be talking about Shane Ray just a few months ago. But the former first-round draft pick by the Denver Broncos in 2015 is trying to make a comeback. He has not played in a regular season game since 2018. He was an ultimate, flame-out bust of a first-round draft pick. However, he has spent some time on practice squads and, training camps lately. I mean, he was with the Tennessee Titans all training camp long, so clearly he's still trying to work his way back into the NFL. I mean, it would be easy since you haven't played since 2018 to kind of just retire, hang it up, but fast forward to 2024, 6 years later, and he's still busting his tail, staying in football shape, spending all of August in Nashville. Can it hurt to call? So, Shane Ray in his career, 14 sacks, 33 QB hits. I'm not going to pretend to be a Shane Ray expert and tell you guys everything there is to know about him and his playing style, but once again, when you're 32nd in sacks, we're looking for Vince Papale's. And Shane Ray might be my Vince Papale. So the front 5 for Atlanta has a lot of pressure on them following the trade deadline. I'm looking at one individual in particular, though, Matthew Judon. I liked the trade when it happened, and sure, in hindsight, you can make different decisions, but ultimately, I respect the Falcons for at least attempting to make a big move, 3rd-round draft pick. It may not work out, but I don't think the lesson learned here is never trade a 3rd-round pick in August for a pass rusher again. No, I think more often than not, someone who's had such great success like Judon in his career has had, it's going to work out. It's just that, unfortunately, the ball landed on green this time when we thought it would land on red or black. And right now, the Falcons are 26 in pressures, which is, I guess, a little bit encouraging because they're somewhat getting to the quarterback. They're just not finishing off the play. And I like pressures, don't get me wrong, but at some point you do need to convert pressures into sacks. It's kind of like in baseball, how hard of the exit velocity, right? Hard hit balls. And if early in the year, a lot of those hard hit balls just happen to find the glove of the third baseman or an outfielder, you can kind of chalk it up to, all right, a little bit unlucky, but over the course of the season, those hard hit balls will start to turn into knocks. We're halfway through the year, and they're not converting into base hits. So sadly, I think we're past the idea of it just being a little bit of bad luck by the Falcons. They just do not have enough finishing moves to finish off the play. I mean, the Falcons' pressures from last year, they had 143, which was 15th in the NFL, to this year, 59. And they're on pace for 110. And they've made, I don't want to say sizable investments into the unit because all they really did was add Judon and a couple of draft picks that really haven't seen the field. Rook's on IR, unfortunately. Haven't seen Brandon Dorless. Braylon Trice tore his ACL before the season started. I mean, those were the investments you made. So I'm not overly surprised that they are going backwards despite, having some level of investments. But I mean, Calais Campbell and Bud Dupree were your top two guys, and you let them walk in free agency. So should the Falcons sign a pass rusher? Give me a yes or give me a no down below in the comment section. I want to hear from everyone watching right now. Don't be a stranger. These are the top 3 candidates available. So let me hear it. Should Atlanta go out and make a signing? All right, before we sign off, I do want to show some quick love to, of course, the Dirty Birds Club. We're going to have a watch party this Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you hang out with us because we give shout-outs. We get you guys on screen. It's a fun, interactive watch party setting, so if you want to get added to the Dirty Birds Club, it's a $100 super chat if you're able to, and we'll add you to the crew to get shout-outs for the entire 2024 season long. If you're unable to super chat, not an issue whatsoever. Just be active in the chat. We get you guys on screen plenty, so I think it's a really fun way to take a Falcons football game in. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed our content, and I'll see you all tomorrow.